Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the meeting of the Merrillville Town Council on today, Tuesday, December 27th, 2022 at 6:30 p.m. Please stand for our invocation and remain standing for a moment of silence.
Thank you, Lord God, for being with us here today. Lord, help our council just run our town according to your wisdom. Give them strength and the knowledge to know what is best for us and best for our town. Look over us all. We love you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Amen. Mr. Hardaway, would you lead us in the pledge, please, tonight?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
How you doing?
Please seat.
Right.
All right, we'll be talking. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Madam Clerk Treasurer, would you take the roll call, please?
Vice President Hardaway,
Here.
Councilman Spann,
Present.
Councilman Minchuk,
Here.
Councilwoman Uselak,
Present.
Councilman Pettit,
Here.
Councilman White, President Bella.
Here. I would like to share with the council, I did hear from Councilman White earlier today. He has an injury. He fell over the holidays and injured his neck and will not be able to join us tonight. Moving on tonight to petitions, communications, acknowledgements, and remonstrations. We have a letter from our town engineer and public works director, Steve King. Sir, dear President Bella and Town Council, on November 18th, bids were opened for our 86th Avenue Broadway Extension project from Madison Street to Broadway. Based on market conditions, I concur with Robinson Engineering's recommendation to award the contract to Reith Riley Construction as the lowest responsive and reasonable bidder in the amount of $1,273,669.25. If there are any questions, please let us know. Sincerely, Steve King. Pat, do we need to take action on this?
Yes, we do.
I entertain a motion to approve the recommendation from our town engineer, Steve King.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Pettit, second by Mr. Hardaway to approve the recommendation from our town engineering administrator and public works director. Questions or comments on the motion?
Mr. President, this will come out of the Merrillville Road TIF district,
I believe so.
and, well, yes,
Yes, it
I'm
will.
telling you as RDC president, it's,
Thank you for that, Sean.
and we're just gonna have to check that balance, Pat, with
Yes.
Angie
Yes.
And Bob Swentz, once the draw comes in next week.
Any other discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Moving on tonight to the consent agenda, we have updated minutes at your chair this evening, and we also have the accounts payable register voucher for December 27th, 2022.
So moved.
Second.
A motion by Mrs. Uselak, second by Mr. Hardaway for approval of the consent agenda. Questions or comments on that motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving on tonight to standing and special committee reports, budget and finance, Councilman Hardaway.
No report, Mr. President.
Very good. Council Affairs, Mr. Pettit.
No report.
Public Works and Utilities, Mr. Minchuk.
Just hats off to our crew from our Public Works Department from this last storm. They pretty much stayed on top of it the entire storm. I know they were on and off throughout the day and night, both days. So I know we didn't have a lot of complaints from the town. People were actually in the driveways and everything like that. So thank you, everybody, for your cooperation, and thank you to our guys for working and girls.
Elections, Public Relations, and Town Beautification, Councilman Pettit.
No report.
Environmental Affairs, Mr. White, anything, Pat, on this category?
No, sir.
Personnel Policy and Employee Benefits, Mr. Hardaway.
No report, Mr. President.
Public Safety, Mr. Minchuk.
We did meet in executive session, but nothing to report at this time.
Economic Development, Mr. Pettit.
Later on in the agenda, Mr. President, we'll have a resolution, the final step in approving tax abatement for 86th Place Partners LLC.
Okay. Parks and Recreation, Mrs. Uselak.
No report.
Abandoned and Blighted Properties, Mr. Hardaway.
I don't have anything under that, but I do have something under, that falls under, I guess, my umbrella too. Code enforcement, there was a couple cars still parked on streets when we had that big snow. And, today, as I sit and look out my window, the car's still there, and I don't think that code enforcement went out and did anything, but I'll address that. And so if any of, rest of you have anything that you need to have addressed as far as cars not being moved properly, please let me know, and I will address that with code enforcement tomorrow.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
had
what
a,
about boats in the driveway?
Huh?
I have somebody in my ward, they still have a boat parked in their driveway.
We're gonna take care of that, probably the first meeting in January, March.
Okay,
Is that we've already looked at the ordinance, if I'm not
Sure.
mistaken, Joe, and everything's been finalized, we just have to approve it. Once we approve it, then we'll, I think everyone has gotten a warning, and we held off on doing anything else until after we pass this ordinance. Once we pass the ordinance, by the end of January, it'll be gone. Okay?
very good.
I was going to ask Mr. President, Rich, is it a warning for parking on the grass?
Yeah.
Okay, because I've got new neighbors in the subdivision. I've got 2 vehicles on the grass, and I didn't want it, Vicky sending them out with new people moving into town.
It's a warning the first time, when they go there to initially, it's
All
a
right.
warning. But then if they have to go back a second time, then it's a ticket.
All right, I'll give Vicky the address when she gets, yeah.
Okay, yeah, she gets treatment on Tuesday nights now, that's why she's not.
Okay,
Or if you can get me the information, Sean, I'll pass it on.
all right, I will. I'll text you the address.
Thank you. That's
Yep.
all I have, Mr. President.
thank you. Dean and Barbara White Community Center, Mr. Pettit.
Yes, Mr. President, we have a committee meeting at noon on Thursday at the Dean and Barbara White Community Center. We'll be going through some of the finances, some of the other operational items that I wanted to cover, so.
Special projects, food and beverage tax, diversity, 4th of July, and now Christmas holiday decor. Mr. Hardaway.
Thank you, Mr. President. Couple things before we get to the presentations tonight. We're going to have a meeting next Thursday, as a matter of fact, 11 a.m., to discuss our Black History dinner that we're going to have February, to kind of like finalize some plans for that. And then once we get those finalized, then we'll have some tickets printed up, and we'll go from there. Hopefully, we'll be able to, sell tables, just like every other venture is in town. People will sell tables, and hopefully people will buy tables. And we've already got a speaker, and I think we've already got the music lined up. So we just have to find out who's going to provide the food for us that night.
Where will it be?
Beg pardon?
Where will it be?
When?
Where?
The community center.
Okay,
Yeah, it's going to be at the community center. Yeah. At the next meeting, I'll have more information.
okay.
Second thing is this is for you, Pat.
Yes, sir.
Is that, because I got a call today, and a lady was complaining because she didn't know anything about the house decorating that we did, award, and which is understandable, because, some people don't read the newspapers, some people will go online. But I assured her, Pat, that this is what we're going to do next month. I'm going to give you a list of every special event that we have, from Black History dinner all the way to Juneteenth, 4th of July fireworks, 4th of July parade, National Night Out. Whatever we got coming that's going to be special, I want to put it on the website. And then at the same time, whenever we have the talk of the town, we want to make sure that those things are always listed.
Okay.
All right?
Yep.
So that's where we are with that. Now, without further ado, everyone that came for the house decorating, please come forward at this time. Okay, now, do you know what ward you live in?
Richard?
I know, were you Mrs. Tarver? No. You're not Mrs. Tarver, okay. All right, you are Mrs. Mosby? Yes. Okay, you are in Ward 5? Yes. Okay. Thank you. So Ward 5, you can come stand right there in front of Councilman Bella.
I just sent
Ward,
you an email, I think.
you're Ward 1 right here?
Beautiful.
Ward, all right,
How's it going?
you're Bone Steel. Okay, Mrs. Bone Steel.
That's mine, Rich.
Okay, well, right over there by Councilman Pettit.
Deer path.
You, ma'am? 7. You're right over
job.
there. All right.
This is, I have an affection for outdoor decorating.
Okay, first off, I'd like to thank you guys for participating. Because, the town, we really didn't do the best job of advertising this thing this year. But evidently the word got out to some of you. And so we appreciate you guys doing what you did. And, Councilman Bella, he rode through and he did some houses and then I finished up. And so, especially when I got your house. But I think my wife was with me. She said, man, I hope they don't shoot out there after. But, tonight we're gonna let you take your yard sign.
That's your bragging rights.
We're gonna give you your gift card. And then we're in the process of having the plaque or whatever. It'll be something that you can sit on your mantle or on the shelf, not just a regular old plaque, because those things collect dust. But they will be delivered to you guys. They'll be ready Friday.
Should be, yes.
Okay, whenever they're delivered, the code enforcement will bring them to you guys personally. But we just want you guys to come out tonight to get the recognition, and we're gonna go through and get everybody's name to pass this to everybody. And you're in Ward 1, so you can just say what ward you're in.
Right, Ward 1, Mark Carpenter, and I just want to actually recognize my son because I am a Grinch, and if it wasn't for him, none of this would have been done. So I put all the recognition on my son, Mike.
Wendell, Tiffany Mosby, and Miles. We're in Ward 5. We moved into Merrillville right before COVID, and so it was quite nice, and we enjoy living in Sedona.
And we had fun with the decorating contest.
Mike and Peggy May in Ward 4, and he does all the decorations. I don't like to be cold or be on the roof, and our son helps as well. So.
We're the Bone Steels, Ward 6, and it's all this little guy and his dad. It's their special thing they do together. And we actually didn't know about it. We got a letter, handwritten note telling us to enter. So that's how we figured it out, I guess. So.
My name is Anna Ortiz, and I'm Ward 7, and we have fun doing it every year, decorating, and we do it for Halloween also, and we actually dress up as the Grinch and go out there and give out treats, and everybody enjoys it. We always get thanked. Like, everybody always says we bring spirit, like, to the neighborhood and stuff by doing things like this, and it's nice. I've been there, 33 years, and I enjoy doing it. Yeah, I enjoy it.
Okay, just so you know, we will be doing this again next year, and hopefully it's gonna be bigger and better. One of the things that we're trying to do, and I hope that you guys agree, is that we're trying to open the town back up. You know, we were closed for a couple of years, and this year we were able to do Juneteenth, fireworks, 4th of July parade, and National Night Out. Those were the things that we did this year. Kind of just, we're trying to ease back into this thing. And so at the last minute, we thought about this house decorating thing, and that's how it came to be. And that's why probably we didn't get the participation that we would have loved to got. But at least we got people that were interested in doing this. And from the bottom of my heart, I really thank you, because I was concerned because names were coming in slower and slower and slower. And so I'm thinking, okay, will we have anybody? Or is it just going to be a bust? And enthusiasm here. I appreciate it, and next year, we're gonna do a better job of promoting it. So what I would like to do, well, I'm gonna give you your gift card. Thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome. Oh, and so, now,
What
if you
street
can
are
pull
you
up your sign,
Chase?
then we'll go-
Oh, okay,
Council,
good.
stand up. Yeah.
You're ducking out.
Yeah.
Good, guys, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys, appreciate it, congratulations, and by the end of the week, you should have your class, okay? Thank you.
Congratulations.
Take care, you bet.
Our young man, how you doing?
Congratulations. Hey, how you doing?
Thank you. That's all, that's my report, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Hardaway. Moving on tonight to department and commission reports, Northern Indiana Regional Planning Commission, Mr. Hardaway.
No report, our next meeting is January the 19th.
Have they selected new officers yet for the new year, Mr. Hardaway?
Well, tentatively, I will be the chairman for 2023.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
Super. Way to represent. Ted, did you have anything from Matt tonight?
No, not at this point.
How about South Shore Visitors and Convention Authority?
Well, I passed out a flyer letting you all know what the upcoming events are. And typically, our meetings are the third Thursday of the month. So I expect to be reporting out mid-late January.
Thank you, Pat.
Yes.
Fire Territory Board, Mr. Minchuk, Mr. Span.
Yes, we did have a meeting. We went over several items. One item that we did go over, in particular this evening's meeting here, was the salary ordinance. At that meeting, they voted on an amendment for that ordinance. When it comes up, I'll make that amendment, when it comes up for the second reading, I'll make that amendment. We'll make the change in the form that we sign off, I'll initial by it. Just to let you know, it will be under the line item part-time, part-time firefighter will go to $15. And for part-time firefighter / EMT, it'll go to $20. So when we make that motion tonight, we'll have to put that amendment.
Okay, thank
That
you.
is all.
Anything else to add, Mr. Span?
Second.
Oh, well, all right. Department reports. Ms. Shine, Planning and Building Department.
No, Mr. President, no report tonight.
Thank you. Chief Costa, Nueces.
I don't have anything to report as far as police stuff goes. Well, I kind of do. Just, I want everybody to be aware of the scams that are going on. They have been hitting really hard this last couple of weeks. They tried to get one of our police commissioners. They're getting really creative and they're getting crafty. There's one that's been going around right now with Send to Your Bank, so everybody that's aware.
I got it, chief.
Did you?
Yep.
Yeah, don't fall for it. Don't even answer it. The other one that's going around is they are gathering information, pretty intimate information that nobody would just have, but they're gathering information and calling and telling people that a family member has been arrested or they're about to be arrested and they need to call and they need to get these prepaid Visa cards and they need to, up to $8,000 they need to pay or else their family member is going to be arrested. I just want to put it out there, nobody is going to call, nobody from any law enforcement agency is going to call and demand money. That's just not how it goes. So I just want people to be aware of it. Thankfully, people are getting a little smarter. They're more hip to it because it's been happening more. So we don't have as many victims, but I just wanted to put it out there.
Thank you, Chief.
Thanks, Chief.
Pat, anything else to add from the town manager's office?
Well, I do have these tabulations, although we're too shy. Council members' tabulations for the door.
I think we should go with whatever you have, right?
Okay.
There was a deadline for it, so.
Yes, there were.
Yep.
So the winner is
Explain what we're doing, Pat.
Okay,
What?
I apologize. So similar to the home decorating townwide, what we decided to do was to challenge each department in the town to decorate their doors. And everybody jumped in, everybody participated. If you had a chance, you could walk around Town Hall and see the doors. Again, outstanding work. What you can't see would be the doors at Stormwater, Public Works, as well as the Dean and Barbara White Community Center. So it was a way to bring everybody together. It did. So the council members were asked to look at the doors and nominate the winner. So we have a winner. That winner is the Departments of Human Relations and Resources and Economic Development.
Oh, very good.
And here's their prize. Their prize is a trophy and a gift card from Domino's,
Perfect, thank you.
which we will deliver tomorrow.
Mr. President, through Pat, I was remiss in my elections and public relations. I'll have more details, but once again, the Crossroads Chamber of Commerce is going to have a business excellence evening, award to business excellence. Mark your calendars, March 9th. I graciously volunteered us to sponsor one of the 10 awards that's going to be given out that night. It's going to be Thursday, March 9th at the Dean and Barbara White Community Center. I believe the time is 5 to 7, but I'll confirm that at the next council meeting, Pat, and I'll get you the paperwork from Deanne on the details.
Thank you, Sean. Moving on tonight to general orders, we have no first reading ordinances. We have a variety of second reading ordinances. Ordinance 22-28, it's a Town of Merrillville ordinance authorizing additional appropriations in various funds for the 2022 budget.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Pettit, second by Mr. Hardaway for approval. And Pat, this is just moving money around for the end of the year, right?
That is correct.
Any questions from the council on this? I will point out that these packets that we refer to all the time and look at while we're sitting up here are available on Fridays prior to the town council meetings. So there's a lot of details that we share. All these documents are public knowledge or public record, and they're available for anyone to review through the website. So, any questions or comments? Is there any public comment? This is a second reading ordinance. Any public comment? Seeing none. Madam Clerk Treasurer, roll call, please.
Vice President Hardaway,
Yes.
Councilman Span,
Yes.
Councilman Minchuk,
Yes.
Councilwoman Yuzlak,
Yes.
Councilman Pettit,
Yes.
Councilman White, President Bella. Sorry.
Yes. The 6 ayes, motion carries. Moving on tonight to ordinance 22-29A. It is the second reading of our salary ordinance for the town of Merrillville employees for the calendar year of 2023.
I'll make a motion with an amendment. Motion to approve 22-29A with the amendment for section fire protection territory under the line item part-time firefighter will be amended to $15, and the line item part-time firefighter / EMT will be amended to $20. I'll make that amendment and initial off on it, the original copy that we signed off on.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Minchuk, a second by Mr. Hardaway to approve the salary ordinance with the adjustments to the part-time firefighter and part-time firefighter / EMT positions, which are hourly rates at $15 for the firefighter and $20 for the firefighter EMT. Is there anything else to add? Trista, perhaps we should explain why we're doing this. I think we adjusted the clerk treasurer's salaries, right?
Right, so you'll notice that the ordinance number 29A, that letter A is a little bit unusual. I don't typically propose that to you for your ordinances and resolutions. However, based on the discussion during last council meeting regarding the clerk treasurer's salaries, it was important to note that those numbers were amended pursuant to the conversation. But I didn't want the very first salary ordinance of your new year to be an amended ordinance. And so I thought the A might suffice for that instead, and I hope that's acceptable to you. I do have one comment, other than that to add, which is the numbers that you have in the biweekly column and the annual column, of course, are the maximum. Many of the departments use that amount in the annual column as the actual salary for the year. My comment is that if in case 2023 is a 27 pay year, then the biweekly amounts will need to be reduced accordingly to the proper divisional mathematical equation. I will touch base with the salary, I'm sorry, Ms. Robin, I just forgot your official title.
Payroll administrator.
Thank you, I apologize. I will be in touch with payroll administrator to confirm what 2023 will be in that regard, 26 versus 27 pays. And if it is a 27 pay, suggest maybe a memo to all the employees so that they understand their total amount for the whole year is the same, but their biweekly amount, Mr. Town Manager, I'll talk with you as well. Their biweekly amount might be reduced just a tad.
Okay, thank you, Tristan. Any other questions or comments on the ordinance? Hearing none, is there any public comment on our ordinance for pay for Merrillville employees for next year? Seeing none, Madam Clerk Treasurer, roll call, please.
Vice President Hardaway.
Yes.
Councilman Span.
Yes.
Councilman Minchuk.
Yes.
Councilwoman Yuslik.
Yes.
Councilman Pettit.
Yes.
President Bella.
Yes. 6-0, motion carries. Thank you, council. Moving on tonight to an ordinance 22-30, a second reading of an ordinance authorizing a fee for debit and credit card usage in Town Hall.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Hardaway, second by Mr. Pettit for approval of 22-30, establishing a credit card fee at Town Hall. Any questions or comments on that motion? Is there any public comment on this ordinance? Seeing none, Madam Clerk Treasurer, roll call, please.
Vice President Hardaway.
Yes.
Councilman Span.
Aye.
Councilman Minchuk.
Yes.
Councilwoman Yuslik.
Yes.
Councilman Pettit.
Yes.
President Bella.
Yes. 6-0, motion carries. Moving on tonight to ordinance 22-31, it's an ordinance of the Town of Merrillville amending several ordinances that adjust the legislative body districts pursuant to the requirements of Indiana Code 36-5-2-4.1 by amending code section 2-17 of the Merrillville Town Code and ordinance number 12-73. That's
So
an
moved.
old ordinance.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Pettit, second by Mr. Hardaway to approve for approval of 22-31. Any questions or comments from the council? Joe, anything to add? I know we've been busy getting information together for the county election board, legal descriptions, new maps, that sort of thing.
No, that's the only thing that's added from the first one.
Okay.
Is the actual visual maps themselves.
Okay. And I believe Pat passed this out for the council members. Should have them. Okay.
Just to make it a more comprehensive ordinance for everybody.
Questions or comments from the council? Hearing none, open to the public. Is there any public comment on this ordinance? 22-31. Seeing no public comment, a roll call vote, please.
Vice President Hardaway.
Yes.
Councilman Span.
Aye.
Councilman Minchuk.
Yes.
Councilwoman Yuslik.
Yes.
Councilman Pettit.
Yes.
And President Bella.
Yes. 6-0, motion carries. Thank you all. We are going to pass this around because I think that Attorney Svetnoff wanted to get this copied into the county, right?
Yes.
So, thank you, Joe. Moving on tonight to resolutions. Resolution 22-88, a resolution confirming the designation of an economic revitalization area and approving the deduction from assessed value of new real property improvements.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Pettit, second by Mr. Span for approval of Resolution 22-88. Anything to add to this, Mr. Pettit or Mr. Reardon?
Now, the petitioner's in the audience, Mr. President. 2 weeks ago, we heard from Al Bartley, who is with 86th Place Partners, LLC. Once again, Al has proven an outstanding track record here in the town of Merrillville, helping to keep a minority-owned business, Mael Cosmetics, in town with their 50,000 square foot expansion. He then proceeded to build 2 additional buildings north of there, which one is being occupied by Mael right now. And this would be between those 2 buildings and the First Image Hospital Laundry facility that's on 86th Place. It's about a $3.5 million investment for the 4 total buildings, right, Al?
Any other questions or discussion from the council? Anything else to add, Al?
Al, pardon me. Just grab the podium. Thank
Don't
you.
mind, yeah, so it shows up
It's on the record.
Right.
I just wanted to thank everybody here for the great job they've been doing about promoting businesses. You guys make it easy to bring businesses to the area. I have a tendency of bringing a lot of businesses and getting them to invest in the area, and you guys been making it very easy and doing a very good job.
Thank you.
And somebody who probably doesn't get the recognition they should is Sheila. Whenever I can send somebody, have her talk to Sheila. She does an excellent job. I get nothing but compliments on how good of a job she does. And I always enjoy working with her, so.
That's great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Al.
Hearing no other comments, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving on tonight to Resolution 22-89, a resolution of the Town of Indiana to create funds related to the opioid settlement. Pat, what is this about, please?
There's an article in the paper about this.
Yeah.
It's a settlement. It's not a lot of money, but it's money.
Right.
Trista, if you could.
Sure. The state of Indiana has reached a settlement with 2 of the drug companies regarding the opioid problems, I suppose. We won't get into the details of all of that, but the drug companies have been ordered then through that settlement to pay to every municipality in the state that have been affected by it particular sums of money. The entire receipt of the funds will come through 2038, so it's a very long extended time. There are 3 additional companies that may reach a settlement in the future, so there might be future funds coming. At this point, it's expected the town of Merrillville in total will receive about $275,000. You'll notice that your resolution includes both an unrestricted and a restricted fund. That is set up pursuant to the settlement with the state, with the companies. The restricted fund has very specific uses that it can be used for, such as officer training on the naloxone reversing drug, I don't know the better way to say it, Chief, maybe? Through Narcan, sure. As well as then treatment and recovery programs. There's a huge variety of things that will be beneficial to your residents.
That's great.
The larger portion of the money is for the restricted fund. The smaller amount is unrestricted. At this point, it's too early for you as a council to really start to decide where to spend those funds until we have some better details on it. But the state board did release a memo recently to get the funds created because the monies have been received. And I believe that the bookkeeper has already receipted those into the bank account. So we at least wanted this part finished for you, and the rest can come then in 2023 at some point to start to plan the best use of that. And at that point, you'll know during 23 how much to expect to receive. Like I said, it's a 15-year process.
Wow, okay. Thank you, Trista.
Motion to approve with a question.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor by Mr. Hardaway with a second by Mr. Pettit. Mr. Hardaway.
In the second whereas, it says dated September 29th, 2002. Should that be 2022?
Excuse me, sorry, yes, sir, thank you.
Mr. Pettit, would your second stand if we just made a notation to adjust that to
Yes.
2022?
You amend your motion, Rich?
Yeah.
Second, it's amended.
Any other discussion from the council? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on tonight to Resolution 22-90, the resolution of Town of Merrillville amending the Personnel Policy Manual. And Trista, I'm glad you stayed there at the podium so you can explain what we're doing and why.
As I mentioned,
That was a motion on the floor by Mr. Hardaway,
Second.
second by Mr. Pettit. Open for discussion. Trista?
As I mentioned at the last meeting, in trying to streamline our salary ordinance a little bit, there were some sections that really should be included in the policy manual instead, because that's where the larger conversation is of those topics. And trying to get the salary ordinance itself really to just narrow down to dollars and cents and not have quite all of the policy language in it. So what you have before you then is a resolution to have these few sections that you see in your attachment as the Exhibit A moved from the salary ordinance to the respective position of the, or the related position of the policy manual. The numbering and everything flows right in line with the two sections that you have there. Now that you've passed the salary ordinance, these technically would be kind of dangling areas, and adding them to the manual then will have everything nice and clean.
Yeah, this was kind of at my request. The salary ordinance is so long, so many pages. I asked Trista what we can do to kind of narrow that down and get a little more concise. We've talked about being concise in several workshops, so this is a step toward that. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Our next resolution on the agenda is Resolution 22-92. It is a resolution of the Town of Merrillville encumbering unused monies from the 2022 budget into the new 2023 calendar year. Trista? Trista, do you want to give us a breakdown?
Sure.
Thank you.
The majority of the encumbrances on, actually, the entire resolution, as it turned out, relate to different police department expenses. The police department secretary provided invoices to support the items that you see here. A variety of items, of course, in that top section. As importantly, if not more, are then that bottom half, which are the additional squad cars. We already discussed during the RDC meeting about encumbering for those four. ARP, you'll see, is encumbering two, the money for two, and out of the police equipment fund encumbering as much balance as is left for the remaining other two. It's just about $2,000 shy of the current invoice, which can be covered under the 23 budget as that bill comes due.
Is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
Motion from Mrs. Uselak with a second by Mr. Span for approval of Resolution 22-92. So basically what we're doing is setting monies aside from this year's budget to be used next year. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Our last resolution of this evening is 22-93. It is a resolution, again, transferring monies within the 2022 budget, a variety of decreases and a variety of increases. Trista?
Everything that you'll see in the resolution does net out to zero, as you would expect. Transfers being done to alleviate, or to correct, I should say, some current line item negative balances pursuant to the town's policy each year that you've tried to do that. The first one on the page, of course, is to address the gasoline expense for the police department. We've known since the summer that this would be coming, and we now have the solid figure through the end of December's bills being paid on what that amount should be. So this will take care of that. Within the Parks Department as well, there were some areas that we were able to make some adjustments for, again, all with the goal of helping you have at least a zero line item balance, if not a positive balance. I guess the only other major note, because of course this is all the same kind of pattern, is that in the ARP section toward the bottom, that does account for this last part, the fourth quarter bonus that you all had approved already, which I think is being paid this week, maybe.
Yes.
And so that was proactively planned ahead so that everything should work out as best as it can here at the end of the year.
Great. Thank you. Entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Uselak, second by Mr. Span for approval of Resolution 22-93. Any other questions or comments from the council? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? The motion carries. Moving on tonight to the American Rescue Plan voucher register summary for purchases for December 27th, 2022. Mr. Hardaway.
Thank you, Mr. President. The amount of this voucher is $11,040.00. Motion to approve.
Second.
That's a rather light one for you, Mr. Hardaway.
Very light.
Motion on the floor and a second by Mr. Pettit for approval of the ARP vouchers. Any discussion by the council? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? That motion passes. Ms. Shine, is there any BZA or large gathering actions before us tonight?
No, sir, Mr. President. No BZA and large gathering actions.
Thank you. Is there any old business tonight, council? Is there any new business tonight, Mr. Reardon?
No, sir, there is not.
Moving on to special presentations, we have none tonight. We kind of took care of that earlier. And congratulations again to all the holiday decorating winners. Public comment. Is there any public comment this evening? If there is, please approach the microphone and state your name and address for the record. Seeing none, I'll move on to announcements. Town buildings will be closed on December 30th and January 2nd for New Year's. Our next town council meeting will be January 10th at 6:30 p.m.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed. We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Congratulations again, guys. Put those